portfolio edition, game design. Super stoked because I'm a huge gamer. I actually have 3 video game tattoos: Zelda, Skyrim, and Halo over here. Big gamer myself. So super pumped to see our mentors break down portfolios. Games or not games, just we're gonna ask you to put them in the chat. Don't do it now. Don't you do it now, but we're gonna ask you to do it in a bit. Real quick, my name's Casey Randall. I'm a senior interaction designer at SiriusXM and your host for this evening's coffee hours. But before we introduce our esteemed mentors, we're gonna do a fun icebreaker as we usually do. Real quick, it's gonna be an Envision link. We're gonna post in the chat, and basically you're gonna duplicate a sticky note, and you're gonna fill that sticky note out, drop it below. You'll see it in a second. And then you'll duplicate a pin and put it on a map and tell folks where you want to go when you can travel again. How exciting. Just real quick, guys, we're going to drop that in the chat. Oh, look, it's there. This session's icebreaker. Go in the chat now. Go right now. Go get it. We're going to jump into that in a bit. And we're going to go from there, guys. I'm actually going to share my screen because I think it's going to be awesome. There's so much activity going. Guys, also, if you're looking for the link to the Envision, to the icebreaker, it's in the chat. Oh my gosh, it's so much stuff going on. All right, so don't move this sticky note, y'all, if you can see my screen. Just duplicate it, fill it out, drop it below. Step 2, duplicate the pin below, drop it on the map. Oh man, we got a few Japans going on. Oh, I see some Southern California. That's where I'm at. Whoever wants to go to Southern California, hit me up. I got a few places. Got a bunch going to Japan, got Canada. All right, guys, don't put the sticky notes on the map. Just go ahead and put those below and then duplicate the pin. Put the pin on the map. Save some space. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pick out 2 sticky notes. Those people are going to come off mute and tell us a little bit more about it. Okay, I found the sticky note. This is Carmen. I'm based in New York. Next place I want to like to go visit is Bolivia. Can you come off mute and tell us a little bit more about that?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey, yes.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, the reason I want to go Bolivia, which is randomly I found someone posted in album they have been Bolivia in Facebook, and they display a really like very nice hotel that make me want to go, and I always want to go South America. Suppose I can go last year, but because of the pandemic, turned out the plan is going to postpone. Hopefully I can go one day. Yeah.
Well, you know what, Carmen? Law of attraction, positive thoughts. We'll be there soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Who else? All right. Okay. Let's see. Jeet, based in New Jersey. Next place I'd like to visit is Dubai and Bali. Come off mute, my friend, and tell us a little bit more about this Dubai trip.
Hey, I'm Jeet. As I said, I'm based in New Jersey, and I like to travel. Like I'm into cars, so I like to see cars. And I was like, Dubai would be a great place, and architecture and all that. And Bali would be a good vacation spot. So that's why I would like to go over there.
I hear great things about Dubai. I got a couple friends there, and yes, they have some very nice cars out in Dubai. Absolutely. Thanks, Jeet. Appreciate that. You can give it a few more minutes, guys. I think we've got time for maybe one more sticky note. Let's see. There's a bunch, guys. Let's see what we got here. We got Egypt. We got a bunch of Canada, Mexico, Australia. Anybody want to go to Thailand? Love Thailand. Oh my gosh. All right, let's go. This is based in Ohio. The next place I'd like to visit is New Zealand, the Lord of the Rings set. Hell yeah. We're going to find you and take you off mute so you can tell us a little bit more about this. Hopefully we can find you.
Hi, me?
Hey.
Hey. Yeah, so I'm based in Calgary, and I just always thought it would be kind of cool to go to New Zealand because I've never been like on the eastern hemisphere of the world, and it seems pretty cool there. A lot of cool natural beauty and ocean. I just think it'd be really cool.
Oh yeah, and the Shire. I mean, who doesn't want to see the Shire? Come on. Yeah. Well, thanks for that. And hopefully, again, we're making some progress this year, and it's going to be much better than last year in comparison. So hopefully, before not too long, we'll be able to travel again. And I'm going to go everywhere I possibly can because this lockdown is not working for me.
Totally.
All right. Thanks for letting us know. There's so many places, guys, so many places. So we're gonna move forward. Thanks everybody for doing that. We've got like almost 100 attendees on this call, and we love doing these icebreakers to like just kind of get to know everybody who's on here. It's a little bit more. And we're seeing so many different places: Tokyo, Singapore, New York, Melbourne, North Korea, more New Zealand, France. I mean, the world is so big yet so small, and hopefully in the future we'll be able to do this in person because that would be fantastic. All right. Okay, so I believe Mishope is we're gonna go live on YouTube. Yeah.
Yes, we are live on YouTube.
Oh, we're already live. Okay, fantastic. Yeah. Thank you. All right, so before we get started, I just got to briefly announce something big that's come to ADPList recently, and that is going to be our no-show ban policy. That is for mentors and mentees, protect their time. We rolled it out last week. We've over time have noticed an increase in no-shows and last-minute cancellations on the platform without providing reasons. Therefore, this one-strike policy for no-show bookings without informing the other party, that violating party will be suspended on our platform indefinitely until further notice. There is an appeal process. You can dive more into that on our website. Our communities, we're built upon a great deal of trust and respect for each other, and that includes our time. Time is very valuable, and we do hope to demonstrate our efforts to build a trusted and inclusive global community where everyone belongs. And yeah, so that's it, guys. Our no-show ban policy is now in effect. No one, obviously no one likes to cancel last minute. No one likes to skip meetings, but things do happen. Just inform your mentor that you're meeting with, your mentee that you're meeting with, to, bridge that gap of communication, let them know what's going on. Okay, we're going to move on to our esteemed mentors for this evening. My favorite part. All right, so we've got Alister Lee and Mike Solly. Alister and Mike, please take a little bit of time to introduce yourselves, tell everybody on the call who you are, what you do, and maybe even a fun fact about yourselves. Alister kicks off.
Awesome. Thanks, Casey. Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me. I am Alister Lee. I am currently based in San Francisco. I'm originally from Vancouver, Canada. Woo, Canada. My own hype man. I am currently working at Electronic Arts, specifically on the Sims 4 team. I originally started doing mobile games first and had my fair share of casino games, match 3 games, war games, the typical, excuse me, my voice. And outside of design, I dance on the hip hop dance team, and I have an Instagram famous dog. Yeah.
Amazing. Check out the Instagram famous dog. Mike Solly, man, you're next. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Howdy, everybody. I'm Mike Solly. I'm a game designer. I am also the co-founder of Coin Crew Games, which is a company that prior to the COVID pandemic, we built arcade machines, physical escape rooms, and like a lot of location-based entertainment. Obviously, that's not so hot right now. And so what we're doing is we made a pivot, and now we're building an escape room video game for home, for like PC. My background, I've been a game designer professionally for about 7 or 8 years, depending on how you count. I got my start doing web games like newgrounds.com, kind of Flash stuff. Eventually, I made a pivot into mobile. I spent a couple years working on educational games for Disney and Age of Learning, and then I made the pivot into immersive. I don't have an Instagram famous dog, but I am from the small town of Sandwich, Massachusetts, which is a real place. And I went to Sandwich High School, and we had the Sandwich Police, the whole thing. I've heard every joke. And these days I'm based out of Los Angeles, and I'm excited to talk to everyone.
All right. Thanks, Alister. Thanks, Mike. All right, so we're gonna get started. And a little early, which is great. Leaves more room for questions and answers. Now's the time. Attendees, drop your portfolio links in the chat, and we will kick this bad boy off. And bam, now they started. Alister Lee, would you mind kicking us off for the first portfolio review? Share your screen and get started.
That was crazy. It's like a lottery,
Yeah.
All right. I think I picked the very first one, which is Helen Diaz. Sorry if I pronounced it wrong. I'm going to share my screen right now. Oops. I went to the virtual background. Too used to that. Share. Where is it? There it is. Okay. Got it. Does everyone see my screen? Or see Helen's portfolio? Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna do. Cool. Okay. It's funny because my first impression when I see this is a fashion kind of catalog. I don't know if it's the font and the black and white, but it kind of reminds me of a fashion magazine. Let's see, Helen Diaz, experience design, creating context-centric products a day at a time, back to data. So awesome. Okay, I love always seeing these, quick summaries of who the designer is. It gives me like great, in a way, it's kind of like an elevator pitch, right? Like if you were to, we talk about, I feel like elevator pitch is such a 90s thing. I don't know. I feel like no one really talks about elevator pitches anymore, do they? But these are kind of like the modern day elevator pitch where, I get to see who you are as a person and what you're interested in and what your passions are. It would be nice to, have maybe certain things that are bolded. Sorry, my dog is coughing. Let me put her down real quick. Let me scroll down. Selection. Oh, okay, there it goes. Oh, fashion. That's funny. So you really set that expectation. It's funny for fashion stuff. Nice, nice. Okay. Awesome. I really like that. You know how I always feel about the homepage is kind of like the cover of, you know, the cover of your book. You know, your story, and you know, generally I always feel like so I always, this is just kind of my opinion, and I have an animation background, and I love storyboarding, and I always feel like everything needs to have a beginning, middle, and end. So I feel like, you know, even on your homepage, it needs to have some sort of storytelling here. And through generally what I like to see through projects are kind of your journey in life and how you got there. You know, it's like a curated timeline in a way, you could say. So sorry if you hear
That's
that
a really,
coughing.
really good point, Alister. It's kind of funny. I also have an animation background too. I didn't realize we had that in
Oh, really?
common.
That's funny.
But
Oh, wow. Sorry.
but
So do I.
yeah,
That's 3 for 3, guys.
What?
Yeah.
if you want to be on video in this call, you gotta secretly have an animation background. But yeah, I just want to really agree with Alister, what you said there about how, like, you know, you're telling a story through the portfolio, and there's like, you know, what's kind of the takeaway? What's the, you know, if somebody saw your portfolio and then walked away and had to describe, you know, what they saw in just a couple sentences, like that kind of is the story of you and your work.
Yes, I agree
Thank you. It's really
100%.
insightful.
Awesome. I'm going to go jump into the case study. Ooh, this is really nice. Awesome. Okay. How I generally love seeing a case study is immediately kind of hit me with an image. I feel like, you know, it's similar to food, right? Where we kind of eat with our eyes first. And I feel like with case studies, we generally look at nicer curated images first, right? So I really appreciate, are those sheep? They are sheep. That's adorable. You know, just kind of the immediate impact on landing on the case study. Awesome. Okay. Overview, drizzle and shine. Awesome. Okay. I kind of go back to the point of, like, you know, this is a shorter paragraph here, but I would love to see some sort of bolded, some bolded words here. I think that would like help in terms of scannability. I know we talk about scannability a lot in these portfolio reviews, but generally those help out. And generally these things, when I look at for tools and timeline, a lot of people also do roles here. And when I do look at roles, that's kind of how I know like what I'm looking for. So for example, here, if you put like, you know, if you do like UI design, for example, you know, I'm more likely to, you know, be much more critical of your UI design. And if you write like UX design, much more critical of, you know, looking into your process, for example. So I'm kind of missing that. I know you, in the beginning, you do say you're a UX designer, but it doesn't hurt to reiterate that this is what I do professionally. Yeah, I'm gonna move forward, research. Okay. So I kind of go back. I'm gonna always talk about storytelling, but I generally really like to see case studies where I see kind of the final solution first, and then the final solution first, and then how you started, and then kind of how you got there. That's kind of like that journey map for me that I like to read upon. When I do look at portfolios, when we are hiring at EA, that's kind of the process I tend to do, because we are looking at a lot of portfolios at the same time. So it'd be nice to kind of hit them with kind of, you know, the final solution there, you know, with a nice image or whatever, and then kind of talk about the problem here. I like that you kind of jumped into the research first. I'm trying to read real quick to the challenge to solve. Okay. I think one thing I'm like a little confused is why you started with the research first. Is this like a research, you know, before you jumped into finding a problem statement here, or was this research you did after? I think one thing I'm just missing here is kind of like, I know that I like watched the last portfolio review. I really liked how one of the mentors was saying how it has to be like a jewelry. You know, when it feels like a bead or a jewel is not in line, you know, everything has to be in order. I feel like I'm kind of missing that here. I don't know if Mike wants to jump in.
Yeah. To riff on that, like a lot of times when I'm looking at portfolios, honestly, the vast majority of the time, just by the nature of our work, it's like the majority of things in the portfolio I've never heard of before. I mean, certain AAA titles, certain large games I've seen and I'll have a context. But in general, if it's a case study of something, if it's a design of something, I don't know what it is at first. And so I'm trying to get my bearings like simultaneously. What does the person whose portfolio I'm reviewing do? And also what is this thing in the first place? And so just having like a hierarchy of information such that if somebody were to skim the page, they're like, oh, I kind of get what this project is and what this person contributed to it and what their kind of like attitude or approach was. And that's a place where I think it's not always that less is more, but like bold is more. Like I'll skim and I'll look at the bold things and I'm like, oh, what was this project? What did they do? And then if I'm intrigued, then I'll start and I'll look at the big pictures. And then if I'm intrigued, I'll start, going in and drilling down into the more specific paragraphs. But I guess like the point on the research being up top, if I see that, I think you are primarily interested in research because it's the first thing you chose to tell me about. If it's true, then I think that, there's a good positioning. If not, I would say like put the things that you're hoping to have the most impact towards the top.
Yeah, I agree. It's more like setting the expectation for the viewer first, and I totally agree with what Mike said. Okay, I'm gonna keep scrolling. Shop. Okay, I think we're still in the research section, or you're testing. Okay, I feel like I'm a little lost and keep having to scroll up to your summary. I feel like it's just, to me, it just feels like I'm being dragged in a lot of different directions right now. So I feel like that's why I keep trying to go back to the summary and read what the page is all about now. But I do like these images where you do call out specifically kind of the problem, I think here. I feel like I've seen a lot of portfolios where they do just throw images without explaining what they are. I think that we do a good job here, specifically calling out a specific part of this image. I think that's great. Okay, competitor analysis. Okay. So I guess I'm still trying to understand. So I guess the beginning was research on the website itself first, kind of like the old website, and then you kind of did a competitor analysis. Okay, I think I get it now. I think kind of going back to what Mike said, it would be nice to kind of set that expectation here of writing, the previous prior to his redesign. I found the following. Okay, site testing. Awesome. Okay, I feel like I've scrolled, pretty far down, and I have yet to see kind of a problem statement yet, and I'm kind of looking for these goals. How I like to read case studies is kind of seeing some sort of design goals or business goals and how it relates back to everything you talk about in your case study. And I'm really looking for, here are the goals. Okay, I kind of wish this section was up in the top. I feel like this is such a great moment here. I kind of wanted to see this a lot earlier. I feel like if we were to move a lot of this information up here to the top, I think it would definitely make things much more clear. The findings. Okay. I definitely love all the you definitely have a very great eye for visual design. I think that's really standing out, and like in your choice of like photos, and also the white space here. I think it's really great. I think it's kind of smart that you have. Let me click on this. That you actually no access. That's not good. I think if you do a link outside an external link, make sure that it is accessible. But I do love the idea where I feel like a lot of portfolios, they do put, the image here and then, the typical name, and the audience information. I think it's great that you kind of summarized it here. And then if I wanted to know more about the persona, I can click out of that. I think that's a great idea there. Our information architecture, okay.
Alrighty, my friends, I'm jumping in. It's that time to
it's
move on to the
minutes.
next portfolio.
All right.
Just real quick, Twitter-esque wrap up comments. What do you think?
I think overall is very good. Back to the visual comment. I love the style you have and the eye you have for design. I think it's just mainly organizing. I think it's just mainly maybe look at a more bigger picture. It's like your case study, and think of each section as blocks and start moving them kind of like Lego blocks in a way. And then build it on top of kind of that slide I saw with the everything here. I think you have a great template here that you could base off your whole case study off and use this. I think you're there.
Thank you.
All right, Mike Solly, time to pick the second portfolio.
All right, I got one pulled up here. It's just kind of chance has guided my hand, but let me share my screen real quick. Let's see.
Playing portfolio roulette over here.
Yeah, all right. Can everybody see this? Yep, all right, I see nodding. That's a good sign. I haven't used very much Zoom, so I hope you'll bear with me. But okay, cool. So we got our portfolio here. Just right off the bat, I like this introduction here because it says, what you do, what you're interested in, and then a fun kind of fact about you that is human. And you have a photograph here again that is like there is a human behind this portfolio. I know it's not I don't know you personally, but I still feel like I have a better sense of, who the person that I'm talking to is. I'm going to do something real quick on this portfolio this is how I genuinely tend to review portfolios when I'm hiring. And I have a big stack, and this may be horrifying or frustrating, but this is the genuine way that I look at portfolios when I get them. I do something like this. I arrive, and I go like this. This is I'm going to spend about a minute on a portfolio usually. I'm not really reading at first. I'm just kind of looking to get a sense of what's in here. I'm more of an explorer type. And I just want to kind of understand okay, I just kind of want to get a sense of this person, this designer has put together a portfolio to represent, this is cool, to represent their work and what kind of what they're bringing to the table. And so I just usually just start by trying to get a sense of without any specifics, kind of what are the high level takeaways of this, because from there usually be one or two things that catch my eye, and then I'm going to go back to them and start looking at them in detail. The tricky thing of the nature of that is you can't control the experience that I or any viewer will have on this portfolio, and we're very unlikely to view it all. And so kind of the viewer is going to be viewing some subset of your portfolio, and it's it's unknown what that subset is. And so it's a little bit of a cliche to say the old it's as strong as the weakest link in the chain. I think that's too strong. I don't think that's true, but I do think everything in your portfolio, there can't be a wrong way to look at your portfolio. So that was my, quick browse through. And I will do that for like 10 portfolios. I'll just flip, 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 flip. And then usually there's a few that had something that aligned with what I was looking for coming in. Say I was looking for somebody who is an expert of UX on the Nintendo Switch. I would be just flipping, 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 trying to see some case study, something Nintendo Switch. It would catch my eye. And then I would drill into that portfolio. So let's talk specifics of this one. First of all, this is super cool. I really like that, and this is not a generalizable thing. I just really like the fact that you have a screenshot of the game superimposed in like a physical space of a computer, because like as an arcade game developer, as somebody who's doing hardware and software, it's like the video game doesn't end at the screen. Like it's a very the human experience who's playing this is all in play. So I just enjoy seeing the game this way.
Yeah, I agree with that too. There's like especially when I'm working on a PC game, for example, or even a mobile game. I think it's like a quick way to show like, oh, this game is specifically on a specific platform, and it immediately sets that expectation.
Yeah, and so I like this. There's a link to play the game. Especially if it's a free game or if it has a demo, giving the viewer the chance to kind of learn more about it is cool, because I don't know this game before, but I feel like I know it. I know about it now. I'm enjoying the art, and now that it's caught my attention, I'm starting to read the bolder text. And I read this. And now I'm moving on. And so I think if I'm forming a thesis around this, it's just kind of like, what is the first blush impression that gets people to go to this? What's the first read that gets people to go to the second read, that gets people to go to the third read? This is a really cool project. Just the idea of, it's very relatable. The presentation is, put together. We got some research insights here. I'm going to read these for a second. Oh, yep. I'm unsure right now if these are characters in the game or these are the team that built it. I think they're characters in the game. Let's see. Yep. My guess was correct. Yep. This kind of stuff here, describing your thought process behind the design decisions is really helpful, because like the case studies can be outcome focused, but they're also kind of a way for us who don't know you and don't know your design process to learn kind of how you think. And right here, it's like, okay, this designer is thinking about the target audience and how they consume the product. Like that's super important. And without ever having met you, I now know that is something you think about, and that's important.
Sorry, Mike. Do you mind going back to the image back above? Sorry.
This one or higher?
Yeah, the character chart. Oh yeah, the character chart. Because I feel like it's great that you have that summary right on the left. I want to be careful on kind of like specifically on this section, kind of what takes priority over here. I feel like you could possibly make the graph on the right, maybe design it a little better kind of like using the game graphics or something. I feel like there's like a missed opportunity here, and also kind of I do love the blurb you have on the left. I feel like it's just I feel like the image is kind of overpowering this section. And I'm just curious kind of like, where you think the priority is for this section.
Yeah, I'm gonna second that. Just kind of the informational priority is always important. Okay, let's see. Oh, love this. I didn't even have to go back to go to the next section. That is good, because this is the one I wanted to see next. I've never done anything with mixed reality myself. And so since time is, I would normally have watched that video, but just since we're on a tight timeline, I don't want to, I'm not going to do it here. GIFs. I love GIFs in portfolio. GIFs are a fast way to convey what the gameplay is like without making anybody click again. And I think that is, a picture is worth 1,000 words. 24 pictures a second is worth, whatever that math adds up to. And so, okay, I'm getting the sense that so, okay. So, I took a look at a couple pages on this portfolio, and I'm getting the sense, like looking at these projects, that like the type of project that you're interested and passionate about is gamified projects that have a positive social impact. If that is the intention, well, then your portfolio is absolutely reading that way. If that is not the intention, your portfolio is reading that way. But I think it's cool because there's the featured project, the very next project. This one I don't think directly ties into the theme, but there's nothing wrong with that. Again, tying into that theme. And so I have the sense of what you as a designer care about. And like, if I had a project that fit this, if I had a project that was in need of a designer and it was a socially impact focused project, I would put you, I would prioritize you as a candidate to talk to because I know this area. And I think that is helpful to think about, like, in general, like what is the type of gigs, or like what is the type of projects, if your portfolio is primarily designed to help you acquire gigs or acquire jobs, like what is the ideal kind of project that you're hoping it will help you get, because when somebody is in need of that role comes to your portfolio, do they go, oh, this is the person I should be talking to? And if so, that's a good way to snag the interview. All right, last thing, because I know I'm short on time.
Just about to pop in there, Mike.
Is my question is always like, how can I contact this person? And you got one right there. Perfect. I very, very strongly recommend that everybody, myself included, I'm guilty of this, just double check that you have a way to contact you on your portfolio that is still active. If you have social links, that they're not broken, and that there is a way to contact you. If you're using a platform like Dribble, or like a platform that is an ecosystem, that there's a way to contact you without having to create an account on that platform. Like Behance, I think, has some built-in messages, but I've never made a Behance to message someone. And so just making sure that once you've made the sale, they like your work, they want to talk to you, make it really easy to get a message out to you.
Thank you.
Right.
I kind of want to add one last thing to the question you asked, like what's the difference between a game design case study versus a UX case study. I feel like it's ultimately the same. It's just a different industry. We're still doing the same fundamental UX. So it generally, we are still looking for the same problem solving skills, the same UX skills that way. So I don't think there's a huge difference. It's just maybe the mock-ups or the deliverables are different, but all the pre-production stuff is the same.
All right, Mike. Go ahead and take it from here, bud.
I'm trying to figure out how to stop my screen share.
Oh, sorry.
There we
My
go.
bad,
Okay,
Alister.
I got
Oh,
it.
my bad. Alister, now take us away.
All right. I picked. Does everyone see my screen? I picked Angelica Baca. Sorry, I don't. Is that how you say your name? I'm sorry if I butcher it. I am geographically challenged and name reading challenged, so forgive me. What I love about this, oh, we have a game section. Oh, okay, it's coming soon. Oh, okay, well, that's unfortunate. I was kind of excited. I do love that you do have these quick 3 kind of identifiers for yourself. I really like that, you write your quality empathy gamer. I love it when designers talk about empathy. I kind of like, if I could like stream this on the mountain, I would. I would keep pushing for designers that we always tell our designers to show empathy to the to our players or to the audience, but we never show we never learn to show empathy for ourselves. And I think that's such a core thing for designers here. But going on a tangent, let's see, let's read. As ambitious UX designer and a researcher living in Seattle. After working with video game developers and QA roles, she found a connection with. Oh, awesome! I love this little kind of like it reminds me of when you read the back of a book, the little summary of the author. I love that you kind of you painted this picture for me that you have been in the industry doing QA, but now you're transitioning to UX, or maybe you are doing UX right now. I think that's a great story right there. Immediately captures my attention, wants me to read more for sure. Begin. Should I try Mike's technique?
You can do your honest technique. I don't know if I'm just more impatient than the average person.
No,
but I do really like the intro of this page.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, you do bring a good point about kind of when you did scroll really quickly, you did randomly be like, oh, that's cool. I think those are like great moments to like try to hold the viewer's attention. I think that's one of the huge thing we talk about in games is like being immersed, the buzzword immersive. And I think that's such a great way to quickly scroll through something and see if you can still get the attention. Let's see. Okay, beacon. Okay. Oh, is this okay? So seems like there's only one project, or there's 2. Okay, beacon projects. I think I'm kind of right now confused about the homepage. Usually, I feel like having 3 minimum projects are a great amount of projects to have in a portfolio. It kind of shows, kind of going back to what I was talking about earlier of showing kind of where you've been before and now what you do now. And I really enjoy kind of looking through, a first project, or sorry, the first project in the list versus the last projects, because generally I could see how much you've grown, through as a designer. Oh, there's arrows here. Are these okay? I did not know that. I think in terms of functionality, I feel like it might be better to have these 2 projects just side by side and not. I totally missed these arrows here. I did not see that at all. Okay, projects, NDA breakdowns. Okay, currently working on. Cool. I honestly feel like these things could be in a separate tab. I feel like on the homepage, I am only curious about your projects and certainly about you. If I do love that you do list these current projects you worked on. I'm feeling this information right now is not important to me right now, but it will be interesting to like read that in maybe your about page, or you have maybe a coming soon page here. I just want to like find a home for it. Okay, I'm gonna go to the first page. Be good. is it just me or the images kind of blurry? I think they're a little low res here. It'd be nice to always have high resolution images. I think it's such a thing because I feel like as a designer, these are the little things I tend to look at for polish. And these are, I feel like, really easy things to fix. So it'd be great if these were much more high resolution. Beacon, an app design as a side project to help business suffering from media. Oh, I love this. This is so great.
Yeah, I want to even expand on I can't see the res from the Zoom screen share, but like, we all spend like hundreds of hours, making our projects like, really tight in the actual project. And so just making sure that the presentation of it never takes away from it, because like that, that Beacon app, it looks really good. And I would hate for the takeaway to be like, oh, that was a low res JPEG instead of like, whoa, that's a cool looking, app experience. And I don't think anybody's out to be cruel. Nobody, I don't think that'll ever be like the make or break point, but all the little things, I think that, you can turn it into a quick win if all the presentation is especially crisp.
Definitely. I love that this was a side project. I'm a huge advocate for designers who are trying to break into the industry where they do a side project, whether if it's creating. I think this is such a great idea. Or I get a lot of questions where I'm not in games, how to get in games, and this is like a great example of someone who is proactively trying to break into the industry. Just using their own time. I think that's such a great quality in a designer. I'm gonna keep going. I think it'll be nice to kind of have a little more explanation on, yes, I do understand that this app helps businesses. It'll be kind of nice to be much more specific in like what you did specifically. Lost on the video. Okay. I'll watch it later. I do have a problem when I do see a play button. I do immediately want to press it. And yes, the entire case. Sorry, I'm reading the chat. Oh, okay, great. Oh, you do have it here. Okay, I feel like, interesting. I in a way wanted to see this whole section higher up. I feel like you could potentially minimize this section to be much smaller and move up kind of the overview section above here. And I did see, I think that was you who posted the thing. You're saying the video is a explanation of your whole case study. I feel like this is much more important. I think we could put this all the way in the bottom, because I feel like generally portfolios are kind of in a way an explanation, or you're prioritizing what's important to show on a portfolio in a case study. And when you do want to elaborate much more on that, you could put that in the bottom. I see a lot of portfolios where they have a link in the bottom that links out to a presentation deck. I think this is also a great idea to maybe perhaps link it outside of your portfolio. Cool. Let's see. Awesome. Yes, I love the bold words. I do have the same thing with Mike, where I only read bold words, where I think it's just easier to like, okay, this is what I'm reading first, and then immediately go to these things. And it definitely guides me to like read this. In a way, it's kind of like, what are those books called? Create Your Own Venture books, right? Like,
Yeah.
Right, like the bolded ones of like, oh, okay, I'll go here and go here and go here. I love that you create this approach. Okay. I in a way wish these like you have these our problems and our, you know, these little headers here. I wish they were a little bigger. I feel like these approach and results summaries are pretty important in generally all case studies. I feel like we should highlight these sections more.
I'm gonna go and jump in, Alister, real quick. What do you think for you know, Twitter-esque wrap up for this portfolio?
Did I already hit 10 minutes? Talk too much. I think
no.
I mean, overall, I really like this project as a whole. It definitely shows me who you are as a designer and what you care about and your passions. It's kind of going back to the other portfolio. I think it's just mainly organization is a huge thing. I do love the bolded things, and you have great ideas. And sorry that I haven't, you know, scrolled all the way down to the bottom, but I can see a lot of potential here. So thank you for letting me review this.
Thank you.
All right, Mike, back to you. I believe you have time for potentially one more.
All right, yeah, let's do it. I got one
Take us away.
here. Sharing my screen. All right, so got portfolio here. Again, this is I do this probably if there's graphic designers in the audience may be upset, but I zoom in. And I'm sure I destroy all the you know, finely designed formatting, but I'm not wearing my glasses right now, and so I'm gonna zoom in on this because when I came in, the font was a little small for me, but that's not a problem. Like, you know, I can do that. Just I would be aware that if the font is small, somebody might. I like this homepage. It's you know, again, the first thing you did is introduce yourself. I have a sense of, you know, who this designer, video producer, writer, photographer, former scientist, like that's a cool background. I don't know many former scientists, and so already I'm kind of like that's a differentiating factor, and I'm curious how that's gonna, you know, reflect in the work I see. Science games, interactives, financial education group, cool. And yep, a way to get in touch, which is important. All right, so first thing, okay, that's a download link. I would normally potentially look at it, but I won't do that now on the call. And so when I see these headings as like not knowing anything about the project, about is pretty self-explanatory: resume, other work, project blog, the Polar Lab. I don't know what that is, and so that's going to be kind of the mystery one. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to assume, just based on kind of the context that I have, that this is the project that you're most known for, or the thing that I should know the most about you, you know, in your work portfolio, since it's not, you know, under a tab called my work with 3 other projects. This one is, you know, this is the big one. So yeah, just do a little reading. Browser-based game about climate change. Cool. I think this goes with something Alister said a little earlier about, you know, adding, you know, your role in addition to the duration and whatnot. That's good. I have a sense of, and the tools, I have the sense of kind of who you are, what this, you know, what this experience was. Nice. By the way, I'm happy when I click a video and I see 1 minute, and I'm like, I'm gonna watch this. I have a minute. I always have a minute. When I see a video and it's you know, 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I'm the impatient one in the room. I'm gonna start skipping around. I would be watching this with my full attention if I wasn't on a call. But you know, this is cool. I get a sense of the game. Games are not just images; they exist in motion, and they exist, through interaction. And short of playing it, watching a video helps me get a sense of what the game is. So this is nice. I feel like I understand what this project is now. Yeah, this is my life. This is real. Seeing the Google spreadsheet, and it's got 1,000 columns, and it's got all the colors, and it's got lots of text, and like, yeah, this is, I mean, I'm obviously, I'm not going to read these details, but I'm like, okay, you as a designer are, you're willing to do this kind of work, which is so important. And it's, being in the Google Slides, I feel like I'm getting a good sense of what your workflow was on this project, just from, looking at these images and reading a couple of the lines. I think, if I was going to push this section a little more, I would maybe bold or highlight a few more takeaways, because I'm reading all the headers, but the header doesn't quite give me like that much insight. And so, if I was to, if there was something in here that you're like, I hope nobody misses that, it might be nice to call it out. I like this little takeaway section at the end.
Yeah, I definitely agree with, especially the Excel spreadsheet part. There are, like for me, I'm not personally a game designer. Thankfully, I guess I don't work out of Excel. I mean, but I think it would be nice to do a section or something where I get to have a section where it's more zoomed in, because I think this information is really interesting. But it is really hard to read. I think to Mike's point of like, if like, let's say the recruiter who doesn't really understand, the day to day, I think it would be nice to do like a little call out here. Kind of, I think was it the first portfolio that I think Mike reviewed? There was like that red highlight of that line. It really does like a call out. It really helps guide the viewing for sure.
All right, let's pop over to the other work. Okay, we got design for print, synthetic biology, very cool photography. I'm liking how many different things that you're involved with. I think it would be helpful to have these headers exist beyond on rollover, because I'm using a mouse. Sometimes I use a touch screen, and I wouldn't have even known what these were on my touch screen. Actually, let's do a test right now. What does this look like on a mobile phone? There's a chance this is just my browser simulation breaking, but check your site on a mobile phone, on a mobile device, and make sure it functions. Oh, there we go. Yeah, there we go. That's what it looks like. I'd say I do 50% of my portfolio looking at on my phone, and the other 50% on my computer. I prefer to look at it on my computer, but sometimes somebody just sends me a, hey, check this out, and I'll just pull it up on my phone and look at a portfolio. And so, testing and QAing your site on multiple platforms, on mobile, on desktop, is very valuable. Cool Instagram link going. This is another page on the site. Cool. Design for print.
I did quickly go through the project blog link, and I really like a lot of the information there. In a way, I kind of hoped, the process you have, with the Miro board. I don't know if it's related to the projects or not, but I think these are such interesting things to kind of just put into a blog. I think it'll be nice to see a lot of these elaborated more on as a project. I feel like you do have really, I can see just like how you think about games, and I think that's so important. And it's in a way, I don't want to say unfortunate, but I feel like for me to get here and to find out about this, I feel like I want to see this more in in the forefront.
Yeah. Like if I had like a takeaway from this is the first of all, I love when designers have blogs. It's not that popular anymore, but I just like it. But there's a lot of content here, a lot of really good content here. Enough, I think, to create a project section that features 2 or 3 projects in a more detailed way. And they don't have to be even this long. They could be half this long. But just to have a my project section that would give the audience a sense of what type of projects that you're most passionate about, but also what type of projects you might be interested in, going forward. What kind, like if I was to contact you about a project, what kind of work is it that you would, be excited, to hear about? And I think, by having a slightly more developed project section, you would have that. So this, yeah, I think, again, really, really cool. I like that the 4 portfolios that we've looked at today have been different. They've had similarities, but like, it's fine and good, and honestly I think encouraged to be a little bit different. There's no cookie cutter right answer to a portfolio, and so yeah, I think that's my main Twitter takeaway on this one. Alister, anything else to add?
I have +1 to what you just said. I feel like as even when we're looking through portfolios, we are viewing it with our perception, right, of how we would like case studies. So I feel like it's definitely a hard job. I feel like case studies are really hard to craft, and I have crafted a lot of case studies through my time. So it's great that I always see designers now like always wanting to improve. I think that's such a great thing.
All right, I'm gonna jump in real quick. Thanks for that, Mike. We got a couple questions I want to jump into. One question that's come up a couple times: the difference between video game design case studies and UX case studies. What are the Alice, you kind of touched on it for a split second earlier, but let's dive into that for a minute or two. What are like the main differences? What are the ways to stand out? Dive in.
One distinction, if I could, that I would want to make is I think there's a distinction between a game designer who is doing design for like level design, system design, kind of game mechanic design, and a game UX designer, which is also an entire role in and of itself, doing user experience within a video game, within a video game system. And something that I've seen, sometimes conflated accidentally. I mean, I didn't know this terminology until I was pretty deep in the industry, is the two. I actually didn't know the term game designer until I literally got an offer where that was the job. And I was like, oh, I thought I was called a game programmer, artists, creative guy. Like I didn't even know what the title was. And so when we're talking about those case studies, I'm not a game UX designer, and so I don't know specifically, but Alister, I think that one's your specialty. So maybe you could talk to this one.
Definitely. I think the kind of going back to what I was saying, the similarity is the UX is still the same, but what comes from the game industry is the type of game and the genre of game. I feel like there's a lot of different player motivations that you have to think of, in different systems you have to think of, depending on what type of game it is, and also what game engine and platform it is. There's definitely a huge partnership between game designers and game UX designers, and I think being in game UX, you do have to start thinking like a game designer as well. And I feel like as a game designer, you also have to be some sort of a game UX designer. So there's just like it's always just been like not to get into like the details, but a lot of what game designers do, they do mainly focus on level design in the systems, and UX designers, we do focus also on the systems, much more of the experience of the player, and also there are a lot of gaming jobs that do focus on the UI of a game and also implementation into a game engine. So that was a lot, but
you know what, rolling right off of that really quick, Twitter-esque, what makes a good game designer?
Let me know when you find out. No, I'm kidding. What makes a good game designer? I mean, I think that like this might be a cliche answer, but like communication is so important. As a game designer, like whether or not you're officially in a leadership position, like by nature of the job, you kind of become like like artists are talking to you, audio designers are talking to you, the programmers are talking to you, QA is talking to you, everybody's talking to you because the game that you're charge of designing touches every system. And so just being able to clearly kind of convey your intent while also like understanding where other people on your team are coming from and what their intent and concerns are will let you design a game that's gonna that's gonna not only be fun but also be buildable. And so yeah, I would vote for communication.
I would agree on that. I definitely +1 on all the soft skills. I think even as UX designers, we tend to be, I feel like, talking to other people much more than the day-to-day, like, making wireframes and all that work, because it's just, you're just trying to sell not only, your design, but also make sure the team is working together to come to the same vision. There's like, I feel like generally, in the game industry, we are the bridge in a way that connects to all the different stakeholders, all the different teams that are working on even a small feature, right? You would have to be pretty, like, don't be a terrible person. That'll probably, what I would say, that would probably make you a great designer, an amazing designer.
So don't be a terrible person. Fantastic. Let's take up one more question. What are some of the most memorable portfolios you both have seen, and how do they stand out to you? Go ahead, Alister. Go ahead.
I could jump in. I know what Casey's going to say. I think in terms of games, there are a whole spectrum that I've seen that are like amazing. Like I recently have been for Christmas I got a VR headset, and I've been just digging into a lot of VR portfolios just to see kind of what game designers are doing now, because the industry is so new. The reason why I started doing that is Grace from Design Buddies. She created I think a VR game that was, I think it was like biochemistry game, and it's just like so crazy to for someone who's passionate for both biochem, I think it's biochem, I'm so sorry, Grace, and games, that she was managed to merge two of her passions together. I think that's just like so cool to have games be that expression for her. That's generally what I'd like to see.
I tend to be, I'm not sure if I have like a story of one portfolio in specific that was like, this is it. I tend to be like a little bit more utilitarian when I'm looking at portfolios. I usually end up in a situation where I'm like, I'm having some problem, like something isn't going right. I'm working on a project, and let's use an example, a UI is just not coming together, and I need somebody who can come rescue me. Like, I need somebody who I'm going to talk to this person and bring them onto my team, and like they're going to solve this problem I'm having. And so depending on what problem I'm having, the standout portfolio is going to be the one that makes me go like, oh, this person is the person that will, help me with problem XYZ. And so I think I just, when I get a clear sense of who the person is, like what they're hyped about and what they're good at, and if all three of those things seem to align, then that's the portfolio that I, start spamming the rest of my team and being like, let's get this person in. Like, please, can we talk to them? But I don't have a single story. Sorry.
No worries, Mike, Alister. Thank you guys so much tonight. If you guys, if this is your first time joining, we do this thing called our group selfie. So what's going to happen is Mashope will take a screenshot of every single Zoom window, right? So if you're on like window 1, window 3, doesn't matter. If you want to turn your cameras on, throw a peace sign, do what you do. Mashope is going to go through the screenshots. Take it away.
All righty, everyone. So I'll give you some time to turn on our cameras, like show our faces, our smiles in there, and I'll start taking screenshots. So I'll go to the first screen now. 3, 2, 1, fantastic. And I'm gonna go through the second screen, keep those smiles on there, amazing faces. 3, 2, 1, going through. And I'll be going through the last screen right now. 3, 2, 1, fantastic. Thank you so much, everyone, and back to you, Casey.
All right, Mashope, thanks so much. Okay, guys, so before we wrap it up, we've got an announcement. We have, first of all, we'd like to invite you all to our new Clubhouse chat series. Everybody who has an iPhone is on Clubhouse. I don't have an iPhone, so I don't have Clubhouse. For some reason, they're focused on Apple. That's fine. I'll get it eventually on my Android. We're calling it the ADPList Celebrates. So join us this Friday, March 12th, 5 p.m. Pacific time zone, as we celebrate women's achievement and raising awareness against bias through sharing stories of women rising to the top. These mentors will be sharing their stories about how they have risen to challenges they face in the design world and industry. We will also be releasing a recording of this chat on our YouTube channel shortly after, so stay tuned for that. I'm not going to make it, but I will definitely be watching it afterwards. Very excited about that, guys. So if you want updates, follow us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, stay connected, find a mentor, get mentored. It's very important for your growth, professional development. And thank you so much for joining us tonight. Give yourselves a round of applause. Give a round of applause to our mentors doing portfolio reviews tonight. And then give a round of applause to our ADPList community leaders. We could not do any of this without you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And then that's it. Everybody else, have a great evening, great afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Keep making travel plans. And look, we'll see you soon. All right. See you Friday. Bye, y'all.
Thanks,
Bye,
everybody. Thank you, Casey.
And also, guys, mentors, if you want to stay behind, we're going to do a little bit of a wrap up. If you don't leave, guys, everybody else, we're going to kick you out. So have a great afternoon. Great evening.
Cheers.